and were exposed to levels that would have made them sick. The entire carrier detected elevated radiation levels while stationed 100 miles away and has since moved off to another area. Before today's blast, those inside a 12-mile radius of the complex were told to stay indoors to avoid contamination, though few remain. Instead, Koriyama is a pass-through point for many evacuees. This town, which is located just outside the evacuation zone, has become home to a massive one-way traffic jam, with all the vehicles headed north, away from the faulty reactors.
I'm 6 months pregnant, so yeah, I don't really want to be around any extra radiation if possible.
Some have the option to escape, others have a duty to stay, despite fears of a nuclear meltdown. Japanese defense forces stationed in Fukushima have been working around the clock, delivering supplies to quake zone evacuees and monitoring damage inside the zone. Their mission won't soon be accomplished. Celia Hatton, CBS News, Fukushima, Japan.
Amid the tragedy, there are also stories of dramatic rescues and joyful reunions. Dozens of people who were airlifted out of the disaster zone got off a Japanese military helicopter today and walked into the arms of waiting loved ones. An elderly woman trapped in her crushed car since Friday was finally freed. 2 young children were rescued from a boat. A baby girl miraculously survived 3 days in the rubble, was rescued today by a soldier. She's back in her father's loving arms. And an emotional reunion of a grandmother and her granddaughter separated by the disaster, now together again. In the city closest to the earthquake's epicenter, sirens sounded today as aftershocks continued and there were more tsunami warnings. Much of Sendai was wiped out by Friday's tsunami, including the airport, the seaport, and many homes. Bill Whitaker is there.
As they survey their hellish new reality, Sendai residents will tell you the earthquake, massive and horrible as it was survivable. The tsunami was the killer. The wave of terror swept in off the ocean with a power nothing could resist. Houses and cars swept away like so much junk, which today is what people are left with. That and memories. There's mud and debris as far as the eye can see. Yutaka Kumani's family is missing.
It's too big to explain it. It's like Hiroshima after, atomic bomb to me.
Today, there's still no running water, no phone service. In this city of 1 million people, half are still without power. There's no official count of the homeless, but here they line up for space at this school. Food rations are only going to children and seniors over 75, says this woman. Sonoko Sato and her daughter are moving back in with her mother. Her house?
Nothing there.
It's gone.
It's gone.
And what about the neighborhood?
Gone.
The other houses?
Everything is gone.
The tsunami came in over those trees, says this man. As we follow him into the worst-hit neighborhood, we meet the Niheis, newlyweds returning to their house for the first time. It's like hell, says Noriko. Just then, the siren.
So we just got another tsunami warning, and all the neighbors who were back looking at their houses said, we need to get out of here, so we are.
People dash, the Niheis too. Those with cars drive to the highest point, the school-turned-shelter. They climb to the top, wait and watch. On the roof, we find Sonoko Sato. It's like a nightmare, she says. With all the aftershocks and warnings, I can't calm down. Today, good news. There was no tsunami. But no one here will ever forget the day there was.
Another reason they can't forget, these relentless aftershocks. 60 in the last 24 hours. Some of them major earthquakes in their own right. Magnitude 6 and above. Katie?
Bill, there are obviously tens of thousands of homeless people in that area. What's being done to help them?
Well, there are the city-run shelters, but it's cold here, and there's no electricity. Water is being rationed, gas is being rationed, and people are starting to ask why in this rich country more isn't being done. Katie?
Bill Whitaker reporting from Sendai, Japan tonight. Bill, thank you. Outside Sendai, along the coast, many smaller towns and villages exist now in name only. Ben Tracy shows us how Notori, once a thriving farming town, has been turned into a wasteland.
More than 3 days now after the earthquake hit and the tsunami roared through Notori City, the homes are still smoldering. And this is basically all that is left of this town that was once home to about 74,000 people, many of them farmers. Now it's basically deserted. Emergency vehicles are the only traffic on the roads, and this man is one of the only people left in town. Everyone else is gone because so are their homes. This used to be a neighborhood. Now it is simply a debris field. These were houses.
Yes.
And now they're all gone.
No, gone. Nothing.
Our driver, Ikuo Hirai, used to take this street when he drove his family to the beach. He can't believe what's happened.
Tsunami.
And then the tsunami came through.
They cannot run away, escape.
That wave essentially erased Notori off the map. Hundreds of people are missing here, many feared dead. The military is searching the rubble for those who were swept away. Just down the road here in Notori, these soldiers got word a little while ago that a body was somewhere here in the wreckage, one of the missing people. As you can see, they've found that person, and they're now going to take that person to the city's morgue. Very sad.
Yes, very sad.
Yeah. Ikuo says he believes the city can rebuild, even if it means starting from the ground up. You may be wondering where all the people in the town have gone. Well, many have gone to evacuation centers or to live with their families. Of course, there then are the missing, and it'll be days and months before we know how many of them have died.